It's 8 p.m. in Banjul, and you're watching QTV News, coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue with me, Answana Isonyase. Here are the main news headlines. The Gambia's Finance and Economic Affairs Minister and the Central Director of Strategy and Operations of the Africa Solidarity Fund launched the implementation of the African Solidarity Fund's activities in the Gambia on Friday. Stakeholders in the health sector on Thursday called for more support to improve fertility health care in the Gambia, especially for women dealing with fertility complications. The National Disaster Management Agency, with support from the African Risk Capacity, organized a day-long forum for 40 beneficiaries of a drought risk insurance payout. In international news, Nigeria's Supreme Court upholds the judgment that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the duly elected president of Nigeria following an appeal by the opposition. And in sports news, Switzerland's special prosecutors have closed criminal proceedings against FIFA President Gianni Infantino in connection with undeclared meetings with the country's former Attorney General. Stay tuned for more on these and other stories. And now we take a look at the news in detail. Now, Sidi Keita, the Gambia's Finance and Economic Affairs Minister, and Jean Nkurunziza, Central Director of Strategy and Operations of the Africa Solidarity Fund, launched the commencement of the implementation of the African Solidarity Fund activities in the Gambia on Friday. The launch came after the Gambia joined the organization in June this year. Alucise reports.
The African Solidarity Fund delegation has met with officials of the Ministry of Finance and members of the business community to identify projects to be implemented in the Gambia, including in the agriculture and banking sectors. The organization is a multilateral financial guarantee institution based in Niamey, Niger, and has 21 member countries, including the Gambia, Rwanda, Senegal, Togo, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Congo, Benin, Burkina Faso, and Comoros. The creation of the organization is a decision of the African heads of state taken in the Central African Republic in March 1975. It became operational in September 1979. Sidi Keita, the Gambia's Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs, welcomed the launch as another major achievement for the government of Adama Barrow. Minister Keita is hopeful of greater transformation through the Africa Solidarity Fund.
The fund support member states, the banking and financial system, and entrepreneurs using various products, respectively, individual guarantee of bank loans and bond issues intended primarily to finance investment projects, portfolio guarantees for banks to finance the SMEs in member countries, guarantee line for national guarantee funds to increase their intervention. And I believe that the conclusions and the discussions held will be useful tools and building blocks to support the African Solidarity Fund's intervention in the Gambia.
The African Solidarity Fund's mission is to contribute to the economic development and social progress of East African member states by facilitating, through its various intervention techniques, access to financial resources necessary for the realization of investment and other income-generating activities. Lamin Bojang, advisor to the Finance Minister, who is also the representative of the Gambia on the board of ASF, and Zen Bejmans Nkurunziza, Central Director in charge of Strategy and Operations at ASF, urged the business community to take advantage of the opportunity created by ASF.
Recently, the African Solidarity Fund has developed an ambitious medium-term development strategy called the New Frontier Plan. The plan aims to onboard all African countries to be part of the fund. This will ensure high financing capacity and also provide them the ability to mobilize more financing resources to meet the demand of its member countries.
Since 2022, it has been nearly more than $1.5 billion American dollars of intervention per year for more than 100 projects and operations supported annually.
As of June 2023, the African Solidarity Fund has a capital of about $295 million US. It envisages to become, by 2025, a strong and innovative Pan-African institution at the service of the structural transformation of member states. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
Now, stakeholders in the health sector on Thursday called for more support to improve fertility health care in the Gambia, especially for women dealing with fertility complications. They were speaking at a forum for the development of a roadmap to transform fertility care in the Gambia. More in this report. All these participants are experts in fertility-related health care with many years of experience in the Gambia and abroad. However, their experiences and views on fertility issues in the Gambia are somewhat similar. Until 2016, there was little or to no attention to fertility research and treatment. But with a noticeable growing number of cases, stakeholders are compelled to come together to develop a roadmap that seeks to transform fertility health care in the Gambia, thereby creating more public awareness and support for people dealing with fertility problems. Professor Julie Balen, a health systems and global change expert, and Dr. Mustafa Bite, Director of Health Services at the Ministry of Health, spoke on the fertility prevalence and the need to implement the comprehensive reproductive health strategic plan, and went on to highlight factors hindering fertility care in the Gambia.
If they say my sexing is not proper, if they know my sexing is not proper, they will say this man is not a real man. And, so men also suffer. Men also suffer in silence. They also face stigma.
But infertility now, after this, it will require a law, because there are a lot of treatment that are coming up in infertility that we must have a bill that will be passed so that it can regulate and guide how we treat infertility. Because if it is not regulated, sometimes it could be dangerous.
Meanwhile, Dr. Anna Aferi, a reproductive, maternal and child health expert, and Dr. Musa Marena, obstetrician and gynecologist at EFSTH, highlighted the need for improvement in research, screening and fertility treatment in the Gambia, and went on to advocate for specialized fertility care at facilities across the country.
It's not less than having antenatal care, is equal. So we are talking about infertility not because it's a fighting against other priority, just because we would like that infertility is prioritized at the same level as the other.
I'm sure each one of us here have a story in every household in the Gambia. There are people that are living with us that have the desire to have children, but they have difficulty.
There were several other speakers, including Seni Sise, founder of Safe Haven, shared her story dealing with fertility problems and the stigma and discrimination she endured, especially from the community.
I have lived through it. I have been called names. I have been physically abused. I have been emotionally abused because of infertility.
Participants also took turns to share their experiences in dealing with people suffering from various fertility problems and what they think can be done to improve fertility care in the country. Meanwhile, experts proposed the development of national guidelines and regulations for the management of couples with infertility, establishment of national registry for the recording and reporting on infertility data, strengthening public-private partnerships to build capacity in healthcare system, provide further training and resources, and raise awareness of risk factors, prevention and access to diagnosis and treatment. Ansmane Sonyasi for QTV News. Now, the National Disaster Management Agency, with support from the African Risk Capacity, organized a day-long forum on Thursday for 40 beneficiaries from a drought risk insurance payout. As Lolium Camera reports, participants shared experiences and challenges.
As drought spread across West Africa's Sahel region, the Gambia was amongst the most affected during the 2022-2023 agricultural season, and that led to delayed planting in the districts of Badibu, Jara West, Kiyang and the Upper River region, respectively. The Gambia government received an insurance payout of $187,641 following its participation in the African Risk Capacity Group mechanism. Mauda Amadou Jallo is the government coordinator for the African Risk Capacity, the Gambia.
Of all the beneficiaries that were registered, all of them did receive their cash, except for those who had issues in terms of verification, their names not corresponding to the names that were registered.
The African Risk Capacity Group is a specialized agency of the African Union, established to help African governments improve their capacities to better plan, prepare, and respond to extreme weather events and natural disasters. Linda Carol Taimoko, Head of Government Services for Western Central African Risk Capacity, and Sana Dahaba, the Executive Director of the National Disaster Management Agency, respectively, both spoke of the importance of the initiative.
Today is not the time for speeches. It's the time for us to hear from our beneficiaries. They are so important to us to understand what this process has meant for you individually, from the technical working group, from the beneficiaries, from the accounting services, from the NDMA, and all the different stakeholders and actors.
The purpose of this meeting here is to kind of postmortem what we have achieved in terms of how we implement the program, what has worked well and what has not worked well.
According to NDMA officials, 4,155 households in 3 regions affected by drought receive cash support. Here are beneficiaries Bakutu Damfa from Kien Central, Bailey Sow, and Wude Jame from Pasamas in Wolle. Though the money is important, it would be more important if we have farming equipment. That would be much appreciated.
Since I received the money, I have not experienced any difficulties, and I was able to spend it wisely. I bought fertilizer and seeds for my farm.
I would like to thank Allah for His mercy, because we were glad the day we got the news concerning this money, as we were really in need of support because things were hard for us. Then I had no seeds for the rainy season. So after receiving the money, I bought groundnut seeds, fertilizer, and rice. One can only have a bumper harvest if you have all that you need for the season. I would like to thank the government and partners for this gesture. Officials and beneficiaries say the payout will facilitate timely response on the ground, especially given the existing contingency plans to guide the implementation response. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
And that report there by Lolly M. Kamara will lead us to the commercial break. But when we return, we have some more local and international as well as sports news.
Technology has always been at the forefront of our lives, and the way we use it has evolved drastically over the years. With the advent of 5G internet, we are entering a new era of technological innovation that promises to transform the way we live, work, and play. 5G internet is capable of providing data speeds up to 100 times faster than 4G, making it the ideal solution for streaming high-quality videos, playing online games, and downloading large files on the go. 5G internet is already transforming cities across the globe, powering smart cities, self-driving cars, and virtual reality experiences that were once thought impossible. 5G internet is also paving the way for Internet of Things, allowing for seamless connectivity between devices and the creation of a truly connected world. For the first time in the Gambia, QCell is bringing tomorrow's technology to you today with the launch of QCell 5G Internet. Get ready to experience the out-of-this-world wonders of QCell's 5G Internet. For more information, call 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. And I am Ansmana Isonyasi. Now, 30 firefighters from various fire and rescue service stations in the Gambia have graduated after 2-week intensive training with special instructors from Paris in France. Julian Jai tells us more.
This ceremony took place on Friday at the Brigade Training School in Bakau. Mariama Jobate, Deputy Chief Fire Officer, highlights the course outline.
These firefighters were trained to serve the need of the population, and their 2 weeks intensive training cover both, not limited to the following modules: engineering in accident leader role, public building fires, intervention area and makeup of extrication technology, multiple victim situation, house and flat fire exercise, investigation of fires, road traffic accident, RTA.
Juan Shar Alad, French Charge d'Affaires in the Gambia, while congratulating the graduates for completing the course, spoke of the France-Gambia cooperation.
We want to work more on what is one of the priorities of the French government, which is renovation and transformation of the security sector. You belong to the security sector, and this is one of the aspects where we want to work more with the Gambian government. We have also a lot of other cooperations concerning a lot of fields, environment, for example, with renovation of the mangroves, in cooperation with the local communities.
Abraham Mendy, Deputy Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Interior, underscores the importance of the training.
This training will help Gambia Fire and Rescue Services in dealing with emergencies and improve civil protection to Gambians and residents of the Gambia and other communities at large.
Staff Sergeant Thomas Lacombe is one of the training instructors.
We are also particularly impressed by the way you do adapt yourselves in all the different missions we talked about with non-exhaustive materials. All the participants have shown a true desire to cooperate, to learn, and make the formation better. They had a real interest in these 2 weeks of formation. It was for us a real pleasure to give time in lessons and to have an audience as receptive as you were, as they were.
On behalf of the graduates, Malang BI thanked the instructors and management of the Gambia Fire and Rescue Service for the life-changing initiative. The fire officers conducted a stimulation exercise to showcase their skills in firefighting. The graduates and partners were awarded certificates at the end of the event. For QTV News, I am Julden Jai.
And that report there by Julden Jai will lead us to news from beyond our borders in a moment. Now, Nigeria's Supreme Court upholds the judgment that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the duly elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, following an appeal against his victory by the opposition. Jennifer Sonko has the details.
This appeal was filed by candidate Atiku Abubakar, who came second in the elections, and Peter Obi, who came third. After examination, a panel of 7 judges of the High Court dismissed the appeal on the 25th February elections in Nigeria. Despite allegations of fraud and election malpractice, a presidential election result has never been overturned in Nigeria. The election was the most fiercely contested since the end of military rule in 1999, with 3 strong candidates for the first time. Mr. Tinubu, who won with 37% of votes cast against 29% for Mr. Abubakar and 25% for Mr. Obi. It is my view that there is no merit in this appeal and it is therefore dismissed, said Justice John Iyang Okoro. The court also refused to admit new evidence from Abubakar's lawyers that Tinubu tendered forged academic credentials from an American university. The court said the issue of the alleged forgery was not reflected as one of the grounds of the original petition within the time frame provided by the Nigerian constitution. The opposition also contended that, since Tinubu won less than 25% of the vote in the federal capital Abuja, he was under the legal threshold to be declared victory. The courts, however, disagreed with this interpretation, ruling that Tinubu had indeed met the required threshold of winning 25% of the vote in 2/3 of all 36 states and Abuja combined. Tinubu's election was largely described by observers as an improvement from the 2019 election, but the observers also said the delays in uploading and announcing the results could have left room for ballot tampering. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
And now on to sports news. Now, Switzerland's special prosecutors have closed criminal proceedings against FIFA president Gianni Infantino in connection with undeclared meetings with the country's former Attorney General. The story by Modu Gajaga is narrated by Modu Lamin Choi.
Infantino met with Michael Lauber in 2016, shortly after becoming FIFA president, during a broad investigation into international soccer in Switzerland and by the U.S. Department of Justice. According to media reports, another meeting was held in 2017. Infantino and Lauber both maintained they had no recollection of the meetings. In the aftermath of the Infantino meetings, Lauber was fired as Switzerland's top federal prosecutor in 2020 after being found to have misled and obstructed an oversight office overseeing federal prosecutors. The first special prosecutor, Stefan Keller, was later removed by a federal court after Infantino formally complained of bias. Veda and Mora took over the investigation and questioned Infantino after his return to Switzerland from the World Cup in Qatar in January. They announced on Thursday that the case had been closed with no charges filed. FIFA said in a triumphant statement that it took note of the prosecutor's decision with extreme satisfaction. The outcome of this investigation is obviously entirely unsurprising, said the governing body, and it goes further to say that, quote, the only surprising element is only the long time it has taken to reach such an obvious conclusion, end of quote. Infantino called it a quote-unquote complete and clear victory for me, the new FIFA, and justice. Mohamed Lamin Choi, QTV News.
And I'm afraid this is where we draw the curtains on this bulletin, but before we take a leave of you, here's a recap from main headlines. The Gambia's Finance and Economic Affairs Minister and the Central Director of Strategy and Operations of the Africa Solidarity Fund launched the implementation of the African Solidarity Fund's activities in the Gambia on Friday. Stakeholders in the health sector on Thursday called for more support to improve fertility health care in the Gambia, especially for women dealing with fertility complications. The National Disaster Management Agency, with support from the African Risk Capacity, organized a day-long forum for 40 beneficiaries of a drought risk insurance payout. In international news, Nigeria's Supreme Court has upheld the judgment that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the duly elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, following an appeal against his victory by the opposition. And in sports news, Switzerland's special prosecutors have closed criminal proceedings against FIFA President Gianni Infantino in connection with undeclared meetings with the country's former Attorney General. That's all about it for this bulletin. On behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching. Do join us tomorrow, same time for more news.